histogram-based stuff. I've discovered some other stuff in time. This is just, honestly, just FYI, just stuff I've stumbled upon that I find really interesting ways of presenting information. This is one of my favorites. I'm going to kill the lights on these. You might have seen these before. This was a study called Granda Reported Gem, done about 10 years ago. I think this is an amazingly powerful display of information. Can you see why? What is being presented in this information? Like I said, if you can't see this too clearly right now, I'm going to have this PowerPoint for you guys online so you can download the whole thing later.
It's the amount of 14-year-olds who are working and not studying.
Yeah, that's the assumption, right? In China, this is Chinese flag. The red area indicates the percentage of working 14-year-olds. The yellow implies the studying 14-year-old. The assumption here is if you're working, you're not studying, and if you're studying, you're not working. And you have to fall in one of those two categories. I'm not sure if that's true, but what is true is I can tell red's a hell of a lot bigger than yellow, yes? Yes. I mean, what would you call, percentage-wise, red-ish?
Like
90, 95, say 90, 80, 20, 90, 10, 95, or 85, 15, something like that. Definitely skewed, yeah? Here's another one for you. Same study. It's sort of the flag of Brazil. It's not quite right. Brazil has a banner that goes across the middle they took out, I think, to be less distracting. What's being shown here, friends?
People who live with less money?
Yeah,
This is the Pareto principle. This is the Pareto principle again. 80% of the wealth held by 20% of the people, or in Brazil's case, 99 to 1 in Brazil's case. Green, less than $10 a month. Yellow, ostensibly less than 100 but more than 10. Blue, ostensibly less than 100 more than, or less than 1,000 more than 100. White, more than $100,000 a month. Yeah, kind of crazy, right, when you think about it, that way. My all-time favorite, though, is a little bit dated now, but I still have to use it because it's just awesome. This was at the height of the Iraq War. Red, in favor, white opposed, blue can't find it. I actually test this one in my 244 class. Surprising results every time I do. What percentage of that is blue? Ish. 20. Almost exactly 20. It's 19.7% calculated geometrically. You can go online and Google the dimensions of the United States map. Crazy, crazy. Anyway, here's a few more to end up with. We can skip some of these. That's $100. That's $100. That's 100 of them, which make $10,000. Now this is not to scale. This is, though, that's if you take 100 of those $10,000. 110,000s would give you $1 million. That's how big $1 million would be if you were 6 feet tall standing next to it. Kind of crazy, huh? So that's $1 million looks like that. Million bucks looks like that. If we put a bunch of it on a pallet, that becomes $100 million. And we're going to need a pallet to move it around now because it's heavy. We need a forklift. Okay? So if we put 10 of those together, what do we get? That's $1 billion. 100 million is $1 billion. So I want you to. So that's $1 million. That's $1 billion. Okay? And these words get thrown around a lot, yes? Million, billion. Along with now our good friend, trillion. Close your eyes and imagine what $1 trillion looks like. Close your eyes right now and imagine using our little 6-foot-tall friend and these references. What do you think $1 trillion looks like?
Is that like the standard? So it's not like a standard pallet, so about.
Well, you use the 6-foot guy as a standard.
Okay.
Use him as a 6-foot measure. Okay? Okay, you ready? How many of you thought that? You see the guy over there?
Yeah.
They're too tall. They're too tall. Here's the national debt. And this was about 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
So it's like twice that long.
Yeah, it's getting bigger. I can't find a Google code to actually update this yet. So when politicians start throwing around that they've spent a couple million dollars on something, they spent a lot of money, just remember this. Remember this image. Remember that $1 million is that little corner right there. Remember that, okay? Try to just put that in the back of your mind. Realize that $1 million, $1 billion, and $1 trillion are staggeringly, ridiculously. They are 1,000 times bigger with each one. I think the word itself should be 1,000 times harder to say.
It always seems like when they're used, like they're just so
Quick.
close.
Yes.
And like
Billion,
not
billion, quadrillion, quintillion.
Yeah.
But every time you go upward, it's 1,000 times bigger than the one before it. That's what is lost. It's an order of magnitude, 10 to the third times each time. That's what is lost with this, 1 million of it. I think the word should be 1,000 times as long. 1,000 times syllables. That's right. That's my point. Nobody listens
How
to me
do
though.
we even like, how are we still functioning?
Because we can just print more. There's nothing backing that money anymore.
Love
That much money.
There's
inflation.
not, the money doesn't have any value except itself anymore. That's
That's all. That's all.
Want to be depressed? One last thing to say, I'm depressed out. Who recognizes this? Recognize this. Tell me about it. Tell me your name too. Lydia, thank you. What is that? Very nice. It's a painting by Van Gogh. Actually, if you look at it, it looks kind of crap. It looks kind of pixelated, doesn't it?
Yeah, like,
It looks like a crappy JPEG that I took and made bigger. So I want you to focus in on that part I just circled. I'm going to zoom in on it. It looks even worse now. It's getting more. It's like what happens when you grab something offline, put it into a Word document, and try to make it bigger for a presentation. It's like, ah, crap, I should have gotten a higher resolution. So if you keep zooming in, it keeps getting worse.
yeah.
Worse. Until you realize, wait a minute, those aren't pixels. Those are cigarette box tops. This is not a painting by Van Gogh. It's a copy of a painting by Van Gogh, Lydia. Thank you for that, by the way. There's the Van Gogh. Skull with cigarette. This is a guy named Chris Jordan. I got his website here. If you want to check it out later, I'll have the presentation for you. That picture is made up of 200,000 packs of cigarette tops. Read the rest of that statement.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Cigarette smoking kills 400,000 people a year on average in this country. That's what he put into this. He's got a whole series that are seriously, they're beautiful and they're nauseating because they are full of figures just like this, but put in extraordinarily simple ways. One of my favorites is there's a picture of what appears to be like an impressionistic view of like a female's chest, bare female chest. You're like, what is that? It looks like two breasts. And as you start zooming in, it's made up of Barbie dolls that are all laying on top of each other making the breasts, and it's equal to the number of elective breast augmentations done every year in this country. Some hundreds of thousands of that. Crazy. What's your name?
Alex.
Alec, go.
Or Alexandria.
Alexander, whatever you prefer.
I was looking at this last night on the website and all the pictures, and I was curious, are they all like to size and like using
To size meaning?
like
Oh, the actual art itself.
like 200,000 packs of cigarettes?
No. Good question, Ali. Thank you. No, he doesn't have, that would be, what, like a 15-foot tall. His art is big. It's usually about 5 feet by 4 feet. It's the kind of thing did anybody see his work? I'm so pissed I missed it. It was in Eugene at the U of O 2 years ago. He had an installation there and I missed it by 3 days. I didn't even know about it. Was anybody there when it was in? Oh, it's usually as big. Let me find one real quick for you. You have 30 seconds, friends?
Yeah.
I want to find one. There's a picture of his parents in front of one. Chris Jordan.
A picture of his parents in front of it?
His parents. Yeah, I got. Hang on a second. Inmates. Yep, there it is. That's his parents, Chris Jordan's parents, in front of what appears to be 6 very large 10 by 4, 10 by 5 panels. That is made up. These are little tiny orange prison uniforms. They're not to scale, obviously, miles high, but it's shrunk down. It's scaled with a proper compression. 6 panels equal to the number of incarcerated Americans at the time he put this together. 6 panels, 10 by, and the prison uniforms are about that big in the images.
Wow.
So he scales them. He wants it to be big, but at the same time, he wants it to also fit onto a page. That's something about the airlines. This one is soda cans. And he did 2 complete series of this. One was just American, and then he did a second one that's worldwide, other countries and not just Americans. So he started realizing, like, well, we're not the only wasteful people in the world. There are also others. So anyway, I find his art amazing. It doesn't fit the bill of a histogram. It's not like a normal statistical display. It's powerful. So anyway, the link is there if you want it. The link is there if you want it. Didn't mean to depress you all. Can I ask you one more question before you leave? How many keys do you have with you right now?
Keys?
Keys!